Hey guys, it's Ree. So in today's video we're going to be going through all the books I read in the month of February. I actually did really good on this month of reading, but I'm not gonna lie, I think I might be a little burnt out, just a little bit, because I read so many books that I didn't think I would get to the month of February, and it kind of burned me out a little bit, to be honest. But we did have some really good reads this month, and also, like I said in my TBR video, we're finishing some series as well that I'm in the middle of, which is very, very, very good for me. So let's go ahead and just jump in and get started on what books I read for the month of February. So the first book I ended up reading was Hooked by Emily McIntyre. This is basically fairy tales reimagined. So in this one we follow James, who is basically trying to take down his nemesis in general, who is Peter Michaels. And to do that, he ends up getting with his daughter, who is Wendy Michaels. I love the way that this book takes all of those elements from the traditional fairy tale of Peter Pan and puts it into this book, because there's so many little Easter eggs, there's so many references to the original Peter Pan in this, but made totally different in ways I wouldn't even think of, to be honest. I did love this book. As in general, I really did love it. It was so quick, fast paced. It was so easy for me to read. I loved James. I loved Wendy through this whole thing, to be honest. And I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect some of the stuff in this book to happen. I did not expect some of the twists to happen. I didn't expect some of the things to happen, to be honest. But in the end, I felt like it was written really well. Like I said, I love the romance. This one is dark romance though, so be mindful going into it. It is basically dipping my toes into the water of dark romances, because I'm trying to get into that genre, but I don't want to go too far in that I'm not going to recover from it. But this one was really good to dip into. I'm very excited to get into the rest of the series though. Scarred is the next one, and I already have it, so I'm hoping to read it in the next month or so and get more into it. I really did, like I said, I loved it. It was really good. I really did enjoy it. Then we have The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. This is one of the only non romance book I read this month. So basically we have Claire, who is a Everwitch. So what was I gonna say? So basically in this book, the witches are what was I gonna say? I literally went blank and I had my whole thoughts planned out. Oh my goodness. So in this book, basically how the magic system works is they draw their powers from the seasons. And an Everwitch is, in the terms of everything, is like the avatar of the witches. She's able to basically draw power from all 4 seasons, and she's a very powerful witch, and she's very powerful to the point that she really does not know how to control her magic. And throughout this book you get to see her through each season and how her powers change, how she changes, and how she's able to control everything in general. I absolutely love this book. I don't know what it is about Rachel Griffin, because I read Wild as the Witch by Rachel Griffin. I don't know what it is about her books and her writing. It flows really nicely. You don't have to overthink about the magic system in these books. They basically come out pretty straightforward and are very easy to read. And I absolutely love the little romance element that was in here, since we get Sang and Claire together. I love Sang. I love him so much. And I really this book isn't based off the romance, so that's a little thing in there, but it was so refreshing to read, especially after reading so much romance as I have. It was good to have something like this in your possession, to be able to read. And I love the way she does witches. They're very nature-based witches. They're very, what's it called, like Wild as the Witch, you had basically these category of witches between the nature and stuff like that. This one is basically mostly nature, because it is the seasons and stuff like that. But I love her writing, I love her books, and they're really easy to read, and they're really fun. And I do recommend her if you're looking for something a little bit different than normal fantasy, something a little bit lighter, a little bit more cozy, as you will. It's very cozy reads, in my opinion. I do recommend Rachel Griffin. Then we had Most of You by Mia Sheridan. This one I really did love. So basically in this one, I don't want to give up too much, because I don't want to do too much of what this book is about. But basically we follow Crystal, who's very mistrusting, who has so much pain in her past that she basically does not want help from anybody. She doesn't want anybody to basically, she doesn't want to depend on anybody. Then we have Gabriel, who has been through so much in his life, and they basically find their way to he finds her way to each other, and they end up making a little deal in this book and stuff like that. I don't want to give too much away because there's not that much in the synopsis that goes into this. I will say going into this book blind was something interesting, but either way I really did enjoy it. I really did love Gabriel. Like I said, he has so much positivity in the world, to be honest, and so much positivity in people for somebody who went through such a horrific thing that he went to. I will say Crystal at some points kind of irritated me because she is that type of girl. Like I said, she didn't want to depend on anybody. She didn't want to try to be with anybody in general, so she was like that type of snappy way. But in the end, I felt like this book was so good. I don't know what it is about Mia Sheridan and writing emotions really well, in my opinion, and making you like fall in love with the book, like get into it that much. Because I will say I do love Archer's Voice more. Archer's Voice is probably one of my top books, but either way this one was really, really good. I really did enjoy reading it. And then next we ended up reading 2 books of the series that I'm in the middle of, and that's the Off-Campus series. So we ended up reading The Score. This one follows Allie, who is Hannah's best friend, and she's basically in a midlife crisis. She is trying to figure out stuff to do with her graduating and stuff like that, and she ends up breaking up with her boyfriend in general. And from all of this, she ends up having a one-night stand with Mr. Dean De Laurentiis. Dean Hayward, is it Hayward? Yeah, Dean Hayward De Laurentiis. And this man is something else, guys. He is basically the playboy of the campus. He is everybody knows him. Everybody knows his status in general. I absolutely love this book. This book was so good. What I say, they're probably one of my top couples. They probably are one of my top couples in general. I loved it. I loved Allie. I loved that she wasn't annoying. I will say this one thing about sometimes whenever you have book girls in stories, some girls are annoying. She was not at all. I loved her so much. She was basically a little sweetheart, in my opinion, with some attitude, with some tone. We loved her so much. And I did love Dean. I really did love Dean, especially whenever she was going through that hard time and stuff like that, and he was there for her in general. So this one is basically friends with benefits, a secret relationship, and stuff like that. One night stand and things like that. I absolutely loved it. I absolutely recommend this. This series is so good, guys. I love this series so much, and I read through them really fast, to be honest. I read each book in 2 days. That's how much I love these books. I read each of them in 2 days. It was so good. Then we ended up reading The Goal. So this one follows Sabrina and Mr. Tucker. Absolutely love Tucker, we'll say it off the bat. And Sabrina herself, she basically has her whole life planned in front of her. She's gonna graduate her Briar, and then she's gonna go into Harvard Law School to become one of the best lawyers out there. But that ends up taking a turn whenever she has a one-night stand with good Sir Tucker and ends up getting pregnant. I really did I will say, I liked this book. I enjoyed this book. I read it pretty fast as well, but I'm not gonna lie, it probably was my least favorite book of the whole series, only because I feel like Sabrina kind of made it unbearable, because like I said, she's that type of person who doesn't want anything from anybody else. She wants to be independent. She wants to be herself. She doesn't want to be dependent on anybody else. She doesn't really believe in love either. But throughout this whole book, I just didn't like how she pushed Tucker away in general when he was there. He literally said that he was there. He was going to be there for her no matter what. He loved her no matter what, but yet she still questioned it throughout the whole book. And girl, what is wrong with you? You was blind for some reason. But I really did enjoy it. I feel like Tucker kind of made up for all Sabrina's wrongdoings. I love Tucker. He is so cute. I don't know if he's because he's a fellow Texan that I loved him, but he is so cute. He is very supportive no matter what. He is there for her no matter what, even when she's being a little biatch sometimes. But yeah, I really did love this story. Like I said, I love this series. This is probably my least favorite book of the series, just to say, only because Sabrina, to be honest. I will say, people are Sabrina girls. So, and people are Sabrina stans. I, at this moment, is not. I think it's because, I think I heard somebody say that I didn't connect with Sabrina as much as the other girls. I think it's because well, I wanted to say that we didn't see a lot of her throughout the series, but we did kind of see a little bit more of her than we did Grace, like, going into the series. But I didn't, like I said, I didn't really connect with Sabrina as much as I did the other girls. So that's probably why I didn't love it as much. But like I said, the whole series in general, I love Tucker in general, so that redeems itself in its all. Then we ended up reading Radiant Sin by Katie Roberts. This is the 4th book in the Dark Olympus series, I believe. Yes, it's the 4th book. This one follows Cassandra and Apollo. So basically, Cassandra is Apollo's assistant, and all she wants to do in her life is take care of her sister after all this stuff happened with her parents and stuff like that. But then Apollo is invited to a house party for a week from the newest occupants of Olympus. And they basically go into it as fake dating to basically get this information and stuff like that. And her ticket, the deal she made is her ticket out of Olympus with her sister and stuff like that. I actually like this book a lot more than I thought I was going to. I will say, in Olympus in general, in this series, like I said with Wicked Beauty, I feel like it's a series that's purely entertainment. I'm not gonna lie, the writing is not that great and stuff like that, but it's a purely entertaining book. I actually really like the little plot line of this one. It was very, very giving detective. It was very giving crime solving and stuff like that, because they're literally there for information and to figure out what's going on in general, which I enjoyed. I loved the romance. I loved it so much. Even though I will say, I wasn't going to say anything, to be honest, but I did really, really like it. I will say, it did take me a while to get into this book a little bit more compared to Electric Idol and Wicked Beauty, because those two plot lines I felt like were a little bit more quicker ahead. I really got into it. It took me a while to get more into this book, but I really did enjoy it. It was a really fun read, and I do like it. Is it my favorite book of the series so far? No, it's not, but it was good. I really did enjoy it. Then the last books I ended up reading for the month. One was a reread, and the second was the second of the series. We ended up rereading Lightlark, guys, by Alex Astor. I read this, I don't remember if I read it in January or February of last year. I read it in the beginning of last year. I remember that. But, so, I ended up liking it. I know I ended up remembering liking it, but I did end up rereading it because we ended up reading Nightbane, guys, and we'll get into my thoughts on this in a minute. But I'm not going to spend too much about this because I have read it before. We basically follow Isla, who is the leader. Wait, what did I say, the leader? Yeah, she is the main empress? Why am I literally forgetting the name for it? Of the Wildlings. So, and then in this book, you have all of the people of the island of Lightlark compete in the Centennial. I don't know why it's so hard for me. I literally read this book twice, and for some reason I can't explain the plot. But basically, they compete in Centennial, which is their way of trying to break the curses that were put onto the island and each and all the inhabitants and the citizens and stuff like that. I really did enjoy this book when I first read it, and I really enjoyed it the second time I read it as well. I will say a lot of people didn't like it, which I kind of understand why people didn't like it, but I really enjoyed it. To the point that I'm like, I read the second book, so I will say I enjoyed it. The second read was actually really good as well. Then we go into Nightbane, which is the sequel. The cliffhanger that this girl leaves you on is not funny, guys. It's not okay. Miss Alex Astor, we need to have a talk. But I will say this, I enjoyed it, but in my opinion, I think Lightlark was better. It caught me. It caught my attention a little bit more than Nightbane did, to be honest, because I don't know. I just liked I think it's because of the world building in here. I was a little bit more grasped by it in general. I think the world building, that's why I liked it so much. Going into this one, I feel like it's a little bit more like slower, to be honest, to get into. I will say the only things I kind of liked in this book were the flashbacks that Isla kept having throughout the whole book in general, but I did enjoy it. And I will say the ending kind of redeemed itself a little bit, but I will say there were so many twists and turns this girl threw out of us on the last couple of chapters. Like, girl, you can't be doing that to us. You can't be breaking our brains like that. But anyways, like I said, I did enjoy it. I do not know who team I'm on, though. Am I Oro or am I Grimm's? I really cannot decide at this point. I don't think I can decide, guys. Even after reading this, I thought I was going to have a solid decision. Nope, no solid decision there, guys. But anyways, like I said, I enjoyed it, but I think Light Life was better. I hope it's not a bad book though. It's not bad. I feel like it does well continuing on the series, but I feel like it was kind of nonsense as well, to be honest. But we shall see how the third one turns out. But in the end, that is all the books I read for the month. Which one is my favorite, guys? I think out of all of these, I think I'm gonna have to say The Nature of Witches. Even though I loved Hooked, that's probably my favorite romance of the month. I really, really loved it. But The Nature of Witches, guys, like I said, there's something about this book that was so good. It was so, I don't want to say poetic, but the writing was so beautiful. I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. Yes, but that will be my favorite book of the month. Like I said, if I had to pick romance, it'd probably be Hooked. But yeah, guys, that is going to be the end of this reading wrap up. Let me know down below how your reading month went. What was your favorite book of the month? Did we finish our entire TBRs, guys? I did actually pretty good. I only didn't read, I think, 3 to 4 books off of the TBR, and I did have a couple on here that I added. Actually, yeah, I had 2 on here that I added compared to the TBR. We did well in general, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like I said, tell me down below how your reading journey is going, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.